What's up, everybody? This is going to be episode 82 of the Fitness Realty Podcast. You know, I am TJ McClellan, broker of Fitness Realty. I wanted to welcome you guys here. I know that you guys have been with us for quite a while since this is episode 82, so thank you so much for watching and thanks for hanging in there with us. Today is going to be, what accomplishment am I most proud of? I want to kind of start with something that's cliche. And the accomplishment that I'm most proud of is my family. I've been married for almost 18 years to this to a beautiful woman. Her name's Mitzi McClelland. I love hanging out with her. She's my best friend. And together we've created a family and had a really fun time building our family together. And I've got 4 kids. My oldest boy, his name's Jaden, and he just turned 16, which for all you new parents out there, it sounds insane when you say that your oldest turned 16. Because if you guys have new kids or new babies out there, you just aren't even thinking about that because you're probably trying to get sleep and or where you're going to buy new diapers from, and or Costco's charging you $200 to just walk in the door now. You know, like that's the name of the game when you start creating a family. But anyway, so I know that sounds a little crazy that my oldest is 16. But I do enjoy hanging out with him. He's like my best friend. He just started playing baseball, and it's awesome to watch him. He is in a baseball tournament right now, and it's just fun to watch him grow and watch him do things. And up next, though, is my sweet daughter. Her name is Summer. She's 13, and it's really fun to hang out with her. Me and her are the most silly together. We have silly little pictures throughout my phone, and we actually create fun videos together and just kind of hang out. Summer gave me the most or the best Father's Day present that I've ever had in my entire life, I think, up to this day. She created a video of me and her from all these pictures and then had all these sayings throughout it, and I literally started bawling like a little baby and just crying because it was very touching. And so I know that this is going to be an emotional episode and very open and raw, but I wanted to kind of share my family with you guys. I do have another boy. So his name is Xander, and he is 7 years old right now. He's a ball of fun, just a fun person to be around, always smiling and always has a bunch of energy just to run around and do things. And he gives probably the best hugs ever out of my entire family. He probably hugs the most and the best. And he's just a fun, loving person to be around. And then last but not least is Jackson. He's 4 years old. He's amazing. He actually is probably the most strong-willed boy or strong-willed person out of our entire family, and still to this day does not eat anything that we want to put in front of him. He literally eats like junk food and peanut crackers, which is just graham crackers with peanut butter spread between it. Nasty, but whatever. And that's the only thing some of the only things that he'll eat. So he's super strong-willed. I'm interested to see how he'll turn out when he gets older. So anyway, one of my most proud accomplishments is my family. I love to share my time with them. I love to really be with them and hang out. And now you're probably like, oh, that's cliche. So I want to throw in that's just some highlights really fast. One of the biggest accomplishments to this day is starting Fitness Realty. Fitness Realty started in 2018, and over the last 3 years, we've done over $100 million in contracts, which is insane. And to that degree, I want to thank everyone that's ever taken us on to have us be their realtor and help them buy or sell their residence. And a lot of that takes a lot of It takes a lot of trust, right? You have to trust us well enough with looking at your finances, helping you to a lender, finding the right house for you, and purchasing that house and making sure that all the timing that goes into that is all above board. And also making sure that you stay safe and legal during the contract process. And so to have that many people take us on is really an insightful thing. And I really want to say thank you. I am very grateful for everybody that's ever taken us on and really helped us grow, because without you, we wouldn't grow. And so I'm very grateful for all of you. One last accomplishment that I really want to throw out there is self-improvement. Over the last year, I've really taken a new highlight with books to be listened to on Audible or on Libby, if you guys know the library app that's out there. So you can actually get free books to listen to on Libby. All you got to do is get a library card and start listening to books on there. Sometimes you got to wait. So obviously, if you're in a hurry to listen to a certain book, run to Audible and just buy one. But if you're willing to wait, they do have probably 10,000 books to listen to on there. So enough to listen to for a lifetime, I'm sure. But sometimes if it's a really good book, you might actually have to wait for that book to be available. But you will get a version of it to listen to when you get once you get to your or once they actually give it to you. So the thing that I want to say about that self-improvement, though, is that I've been able to listen to over 15 books just in this first half of the year in 2023. And if we're seeing this a lot later than that, I want to say that the self-improvement with those books is going to be a continuous process. So write down in the comments below if you're interested in listening to books and how many you've read this year, or maybe you have titles that you'd suggest to me. I'm open and interested in seeing which books you guys are interested in so that I can read those books or listen to them. One little side note to that, I did have a person, this is kind of a funny story. I did have a person, they told me about a book that's called Giftology. And I ran to Libby, which it wasn't on the free library app. So I was like, oh man, well, I'll probably just have to buy it from Audible. I went to Audible. It was like $11.99. It's like a 2-hour read. Unless you put it on a little faster, then it's like an hour and 40 minutes, which is pretty sweet. But I bought the Giftology book, listened to it in 2 drives, once to work and once back, and listened to this Giftology book. It was an amazing book. I think every person that runs a business should read this Giftology book. It's amazing, and it will take your business to the next level, and it will help you become a person that stands out or a business that stands out above the rest. The funny part is once I read this book, I went back to the person and wrote them a text. I'm swiping on my keyboard right now. Swiped on my keyboard and said, "Hey, that was a great book. Do you have any more topics or book titles that you'd want me to read?" And she wrote back and she was like, "Nobody ever reads the books that I tell them to read." And so she kind of was like, she got kind of weird, shouldn't say weird, but she thought it was very interesting that I actually took a recommendation and did something about it. And so I really wanted to throw that out there. Giftology is a great book, but there's 3 more book titles that I want to throw out there for you guys. They are all Arbinger Institute books. The first one's going to be Outward Mindset. If you guys have not read a book about being outward mindset, if you haven't read anything like that in the past, this is a great book to start to get some research done and really kind of get introspective about yourself. But this Outward Mindset book is super deep. There's tons of topics in there to really dive in. So you may have to read that over a few months so that you can really digest it. But the Outward Mindset book is probably where I would start in the Arbinger Institute books. Up next is a book called Anatomy of Peace. And it has a really fun story to listen to really tell you about the ways to use an outward mindset to be at peace with yourself and with others, and how to find that common ground that I think in America and just in general as a world and a globe and as a human race, we've kind of lost how to be on the same equal playing field with humans in general. This Anatomy of Peace book, in my opinion, would be a great book for every person on the planet to read, to really understand where other people come from, to get on the same level, and to see people as they matter, as you matter, and you matter as they matter, really to be equal. Obviously, we have tons of opinions, so we can disagree, but we can always come together to talk about things and disagree on a level that we actually see people as people. So that Anatomy of Peace book, that's number 2 I would talk about or say to suggest to read. So kind of to run through real quick, we've talked about Outward Mindset and then Anatomy of Peace. The third book that I really think is interesting that I just finished not too long ago is called Leadership and Self-Deception. And the self-deception piece really kind of threw me for a loop that I've never even thought about. Always in my life, I thought I've had all the answers, and my dad could tell you that. Sorry, Dad. I learned from the school of hard knocks many, many times, where I was like, "Oh, my parents know nothing. Thanks. Have a nice day. I'm going to go do this," and then I wreck a car or whatever, or maybe a pregnancy scare or whatever. There's lots of stuff in my past that I could talk about that was the school of hard knocks. The piece of the self-deception that really threw me for a loop is that I've never thought that I was the person that had the problem. I've always been the person that was like, oh, it's other people, the world, things aren't the right way because of other people or whatever. And that is a very inward mindset, and I didn't know that. So the self-deception piece is that as people, we often think that the problem is other people. We don't realize that the problem might be what we have going on. We might be thinking that we're... I'll kind of spin that. There's 4 boxes that Arbinger Institute talks about. Sometimes in an inward mindset, we often think that we're better than others, right? There could be an instance where you were like, oh, I'm better than this person for this reason. That's an inward mindset. And that self-deception could be that you think you're better than other people when in fact you are supposed to be equal. We're all supposed to be on the same level playing field, right? We see people as people. Now, I'm not saying that people's bank accounts are not different and things like that, but what I'm saying is that when we look at somebody, we can see that they are a person and not an object. So the self-deception might be that you think that you're better than somebody else. Another common self-deception is that you think that you're not as good as somebody else. So kind of the reverse of that, where if you put yourself down and you think that you're a lower class or you don't deserve something, that can be a self-deception. And so we want to kind of steer clear of that. And there's lots of great ways through how to get out of those inward mindset boxes. The third one is that you feel like you deserve something, that you deserve everything. And so that's a misconception there, that you deserve something, right? And that's where you're turning everybody else into objects as well. All right, and the fourth one is the must be seen as box. So if you are a person that thinks that you must be seen a certain way, like you're acting or you're doing a bunch of things to be seen a certain way, that is an inward mindset. So long story short, the 3 books that I really want to make sure that people are aware of that are out there, the Outward Mindset, 100% really good, kind of walks through those 4 boxes that I really just talked about, and sets you up to understand the processes of looking at people like people and not as objects. Second is the book called Anatomy of Peace. Like I said, really great story to listen to, and then really can help you evaluate your introspective personality and stuff like that. And then number 3, Leadership and Self-Deception, kind of takes those 2 previous books and really helps you understand why most humans have self-deception, and we're all in these boxes and we have an inward mindset. And if we were more outwardly mindset, or if we had a better outward mindset position, there would be tons of better things in this world. To be amazing. So anyway, long story short, I know this episode is episode 82, all about one accomplishment that really is something that stands out to me. But I had a lot of things come to me that I really wanted you guys to know that were more important about how to see people as people and not as objects. So anyway, this is episode 82. My name is TJ McClelland. I'm the broker of Fitness Realty. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys, and we'll see you next time.